Hello, good morning, you guys, and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay on this morning. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. Okay, so make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those great things. Okay. Auntie up early again. I have to get up early and put my feet on the pavement. And I'm hoping to be able to do a live tonight. I had planned on doing one last night and got tied up. Auntie got a lot of great things going on in her life that keeps me extremely busy. So I haven't been able to. Uh, y'all know I normally do a live every night, but I'm going to try to do one tonight, okay? But I wanted to talk about because we see this Diddy thing is going on. Diddy is being sentenced on today, okay? He's been sentenced today at 10 o'clock in the same courtroom, okay, that actually had found him guilty of some of his charges, okay? So he's going to learn his fate today. We know the prosecutors are asking for 11 years, okay? It says Combs, 55, will learn his fate during a 10 a.m. hearing in the same Manhattan federal courtroom where jurors found him guilty of prosty charges after a salacious sex crimes trial. Federal prosecutors have urged Judge Subramanian to sentence the unrepentant Combs to more than 11 years, while the Bad Boy Records lawyer argued he should be released with 14 months time served. Okay, the ultimate sentence likely would be a far cry from what Sean Combs have served if he was convicted on his top charges of trafficking and racketeering. But jurors ultimately found Combs guilty of lesser prosty charges after the blockbuster trial drew to a close in July. The 2-month trial exposed the bad boy's depraved, violent secrets and often nauseated details, including his um, liking for freak-offs, dehumanizing baby oil soaked and drug-fueled romps in which he watched his girlfriends have relations with male escorts, okay? Now we know that Cassie, okay, has written a letter to the judge, okay, asking to the judge to remember her, all that she went through, not to let him get off. Okay, it could listen. I'm not gonna say rather he's gonna get 11 years or not. He may walk. You know, maybe the judge did not let him out. Okay. Number one, they didn't let him out on bond because they felt like he was a risk. Of course, we already know that Puffy is definitely, you know, I don't think that he has any remorse for anything that he's done. I don't think he's been in there long enough to have any humility. When he gets out, I think he's going to seek revenge on those that look like him. He's definitely not going to seek revenge. I think he's had enough. He's been in Hollywood and he's been the favorite and did their dirt for so long. He forgot that he was black. Okay, and so what he did was he started trying to go after others. I say this all the time that did look like him. Okay, they gave him the power to hold down those that look like him, to keep the artists that signed with Bad Boys broke, busted, and disgusted, to emasculate black men. To really, you know, hate on black women, and so he did that. Okay, And it's not something I'm pulling out of my butt. His artists talk about all the time how he did them. I don't think he created any millionaires, not even with the hit men I'm talking about that was making the beats at Bad Boys. And we know Bad Boys was on top. Everything that they was putting out was a hit at one time back in the day. And none of these artists made it out with anything, right? Okay. Um, so I don't really think so. I, what I think is he's gonna get out, okay, and he's gonna start um, seeking revenge on those that he feels that turned their back on him. That looks like him, of course. Like I just said, he's not gonna go after any other races anymore because they gave him that ninja call. Y'all know what I said, that nigga call. Okay, we give you the power to destroy your community, to keep those down in your community. But the moment you think that you can use that power and step over into another community, you must be out your mind, even though we've taken care of you for 30 years and we got to spank you. And I think that this was a humiliation ritual and they spanked him. Okay. Because I think all the judges and the prosecutors, and I mean, a lot of them are probably in together. Who knows? The jury was probably paid off. You know what I mean? We think about a lot of this stuff that happened, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I get to thinking about a lot of this stuff did happen in the John Gotti's trial in New York. So it's very well possible that the elites just wanted to spank him to let him know you is still a Negro. And so if we give you your power back, in which they spanked him real bad, he must have really been trying to buck against whatever it was that they wanted, because they really spanked him bad. Okay, so if I was the African Americans, I would stay as far away from him as I could, because he's going to take all of that frustration out on who he can take it out on, and that is anybody within the black community, because he knows to never step over that line again of trying to take anything bad out on anybody in any other community, because they're going to drag his ass again. Okay, so he's gotten that understood. So he's going to continuously, he's going to know, hey, anybody that I dog out has to look like me. That's what I was given the power for. I think a lot of the people, the elites that gave him the power, like Clyde Davis and all of them, they're old. That tells me that Clyde Davis wears a pamper now, and there ain't nothing wrong with wearing a pamper. Okay, he's in his 90s, and this is something that I was reading, that he has to wear a pamper because he can't hold his bowels or whatever, and so he can't. Puffy can't. He can't. Puffy can't do any more sexual favors and stuff for him. All of the older men in Hollywood that he was parlaying with and doing favors for. I mean, Puffy is in his 50s and stuff. Now he's old. He really does not have any influence with the younger culture, which is why he was dating young Miami, okay? Because he wanted to be relevant. His time is really gone. He's got the money because he took advantage in the 90s of all of his black artists. Okay, so he's living off of their money and their residuals and all of that, right? So but I don't think that he has a ounce of remorse. He's going to get out and he's going to continue to do it. He just knows not to step over the line of messing with anybody outside of his community. If he does anything bad, okay, he'll keep it within the lines of the black community, and it'll be business as usual. Now, let me just say this. Those that were morally, yes, I disagree with freak offs morally, but people that was willing to do it because they wanted to be a part of something, they wanted to be, they wanted favors and all of that, because you could easily just walk away and say, well, listen, since the elites have given him this power, listen, I gotta walk away and look into doing something else because I can't be a part of this. I cannot let him um emasculate me, okay, as a man, or disrespect me as a woman. A lot of these people continued on for the fame and money. I listen, hey, the way that he did it, I don't agree, but a lot of these people had a choice. Although, I was looking at a reporter who says that his cousin, he didn't know, he called Puffy early on in the 90s. He knew Puffy and asked him if his cousin could intern. He said, and all of a sudden, his cousin just stopped interning with Puffy, and he never knew why. Now, it's hard for me to believe that. His cousin just quit and went back home. And he said when this happened, his cousin finally told him that Puffy was like, um, he was interning for Puffy, and he said Puffy said to him, just out of the blue one day, listen, you either come back to my house and sleep with me, or you're fired. And he said his cousin said he chose to be fired. Okay, this was a young intern that was a heterosexual man, um, that Puffy wanted to do sexual favors for him if he was going to continue working for him. Puffy has been doing this for years, abusing his power. But a lot of those people that chose to, because after so many years, people in the industry knew how he was, knew how he operated. It would seem to me that they would try and stay away from him. Okay, rather than try and rub elbows with him when they already knew what he was about, to try and get favors. Okay, so people that choose, that was not drugged, that didn't have a weapon put to their heads, these people that chose to be in these freak offs. Hey, listen, he shouldn't be jailed for that. If they weren't drugged, they didn't have a weapon put to their head. It was wrong for him to say either you do it or you can't rock out with me no more. Okay, well then you make a choice. I ain't rocking out with you. Bye. I have to go work at the Walmart, okay? Until I can build something for myself, I go back home to my little smaller town, and that's what I choose to do. But a lot of them chose to do it because they wanted the money, they wanted the fame, and all of that. But now, don't get me wrong, I think that he should get some years, okay? Although I don't know how it's going to go, but I don't really believe that he is. I believe they want to spank him, to give him that ninja call, that nigga call, to let him know this is that. You never go after us. You stay in your lane, and you destroy your own community. That's what we gave you the power for, but you stepped out of line when you started thinking that you can go and come up against us or our communities, okay? So for that reason, I don't give a damn about Puff. I really don't care what they do to him, okay? But anyways, it's going to be interesting to see what happens today in his sentencing, okay? Will the elites let him walk free? Or is this just a spanking? Okay. Also, I wanted to talk about Chicago residents. They're saying this under siege. ICE agents descended from black helicopters. So they just popped up into Chicago. Because remember, Trump has said that they were not going to go into Chicago, but they're saying that they're there. They said the city of Chicago is under siege by federal agents and National Guards. And of course, the federal agents and the National Guards are very saturated in Memphis. They are totally everywhere, okay? Who repelled from Black Hawk helicopters into housing projects. The residents described the chaos as U.S. soldiers dragged children out of their beds in the middle of the night. The enforcement operation began hours after President Trump said cities like Chicago would be used as training grounds by immigration enforcement officials. On Tuesday night, the thundering sound of Black Hawk choppers were heard over housing projects as soldiers rappelled down into an apartment complex. And I wish that I could show this. It says 37 arrested, 7500 South Shore Drive, approximately 1 a.m. on October 1st, 2025, an apartment complex frequented by members of the Trendy Aregu gang, federal agents conducted an ICE raid on South Side apartment building. Okay, let's see. Yes, indeed. They something out of the movies. I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to get this downloaded and edited into this.
Levanta el pie. ¿Cómo te llamabas? Ok, gira derecho. Gira derecho. Ludwig.
Sí,
Jean-Pierre.
Parra Pérez.
Video, it says witnesses said the soldiers smashed furniture and ransacked apartments while dragging dozens of parents and screaming children out into U-Haul vans. Local residents Roderick Johnson told the Chicago Suns that the federal officials broke down his door, put him in zip ties, and kept him detained for 3 hours before letting him go. He says, I asked agents why they were holding me if I was an American citizen, and they said I had to wait until they looked me up. Johnson told a reporter, I asked if they had a warrant and I asked for a lawyer. They never brought one. Another resident says he was briefly detained while immigration officers checked her legal status. They just treated us like we were nothing, she told the news station. Immigration lawyers warned permanent legal residents who have the 1551 version of the green card from the 70s and 80s is still valid and does not need to be renewed. However, immigration officials will detain you if you don't look like your picture on the card because it's too old. So they're saying that they will detain you because you've gotten older. Okay, so if you took a picture back in the 70s and 80s, of course, you know, if you that's about 40 years ago, of course you're gonna look different. You probably gain weight, you're older. Okay, that's 30, 40 years ago. So they're gonna detain you. Okay, they're gonna disregard that, and you're supposed to be young forever. So they're gonna take you in. Okay, that in their eyes, you're supposed to always be young, forever young. Okay, I like that song "Forever Young" by Jay-Z and Beyonce. I do like that one. Okay, so this is crazy. I mean, they just hopping down like coming out the sky. It's like something out of a movie. Okay. But anyways, you guys, hey, they doing the same thing in Memphis, except for in Memphis, that right now they are in the black neighborhoods. Okay, they are in the African American neighborhoods. I rode down Danny Thomas the other day. Even yesterday, they are highly saturated in South Memphis and North Memphis. Okay. I rode down Danny Thomas and they were standing out around Tate Street, about 20 of them, out in front of their cars, just congregated talking while black folks sitting on their porch and in the projects up there around Tate Street, just sitting on their porch like they always do. These are older people that are in what's the word that I'm looking for? The type of housing that they pay for. Not supplemental housing, but income. It's based on their income. Um, I mean, my friend that lives up that way said they didn't stop them from hanging out at the yellow store. Okay, but I didn't look to see if they was up there at the yellow store around Tate Street. You know, they called it the yellow store. I didn't look to see because that's normally where they kind of hang out at and sell drugs. So if I have to be out their way today, I'm going to check and see. But I did see them all within South Memphis stopping people, and they're pulling law-abiding citizens over for if you pick up your phone, if you have your phone in your hand, you're supposed to be, hey, if you have a soda in your hand, if you got anything in your hand, you're supposed to be hands free at all times with both hands on the steering wheel. If not, they're going to pull you over and ticket you. If you're driving slow in the left lane, which I guess would be the faster lane, or the middle lane, I guess it's supposed to be the passing lane. Um, but if you're driving slow in the wrong lane, they're gonna pull you over and ticket you. If you don't turn on a signal when you're getting ready to turn, I never turn on the signal. I stop and I just go ahead, get in turning lane and turn. They're gonna pull you over. So it seemed like to me that they are bothering law-abiding citizens. Also, hey, I was all for them coming because of all of the crime in the Memphis area, but it seems like to me that they're trying to. They have sent 300 troops from out of Tennessee, state troopers from out of all parts of Tennessee, I think from up in Nashville. So they have to pay them overtime plus for their hotels and stuff. And they have the National Guard that I saw the National Guard down at the 201 Poplar area. So, I mean, they're huge dudes. I mean, look like some that was handmade. I ain't never seen no dudes as, they big, big. Okay. Um, they're here in Memphis, okay? Um and it's so weird because they have like dispatch like the gaming, like they all federal agencies like the fish gaming people, and what's going on? Who somebody messing with the fish? So it's weird. I want to tell y'all right quick all of the people um in Memphis. Cause I was like, when it was like it was 12 different agencies, I'm like, what the hell? I wanna name all of them. It says the National Guard and a dozen federal agents have arrived in Memphis. So they said they actually came in on September 29th. We thought, but people had been reported seeing them before then. But we thought it was October 1st, but they had been here. The Memphis Safe Task Force, that's what they're called. And I want to see if they got the name of all of the dozen federal agencies because I didn't know. Excuse me, you all, it was a dozen. It says the National Guard troops can be deputized by the U.S. Marshals. So we know the Marshals. We know got 300 state troopers to come into Memphis. Um, the Department of Treasury handles the productions of coin and currency. They're tax evaders. They're getting them, including the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Space Force. The agency also manages the defense budget, so get your taxes paid. Um, they was telling me the gaming for the game, fish gaming or something. Um, we know the ATF, the DEA. I wanted to the mission of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is to enhance the health. That the child they done brought in everything. I mean, totally. Department of Transportation, Homeland Security. Um, we know the FBI, ATF, DEA. Um, I know they said the game and fish. Uh, because they was talking about why would they need them? The park for the park and for the fish gaming or something. Hold on. I want to make sure that I got the name right. It's something a task force for I know I'm saying it wrong, but they was talking about it because they was like, why would they need? It's called fish. It's called gaming or something. I can't remember verbatim. I can't find it right now. Yeah, I know I hate to search for stuff while I'm doing a video. But yeah, it's tough out there. And now we see, that they have because they had said he had said he was not going to go into Chicago, that they was going to send everybody to Memphis, but we see that he did, right? So that's interesting within itself. But anyways, you guys, so we'll be looking to see what happened with Puffy. What would his sentencing be? The elites will probably, you know, like I said, they feel like he has served enough, even though Puffy has been in power for had been in power for 30 years. He's been doing people dirty. He totally abused his power. He could have did so much for the black community, and people get the issues confused when they say, "Well, he signed black artists. He made them famous." What good is making somebody famous if you don't make them wealthy? So I think a lot of people in our community get the issues confused. They'll take that fame and be broke as a joke. No, give us the wealth. I don't care about people seeing me if I ain't got no money. Okay. So and that's what he did. That's what he did, and that's really sad. But anyways, you guys, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. Listen, if you want to support the channel, you can hit up the Cash App, which is $Real Talk with Tamara, the Super Chat, or the Super Thanks. Okay. Make sure you guys please like, share, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit the notification button and hit all. Okay. I love you guys. I'll talk with you later.